So hello, everyone. Welcome to the Blessings channel. My name is Asti Chandrakar. I am tuning in from Atlanta. I'm a volunteer teacher with the Art of Living Foundation here in Atlanta. And welcoming you all to the Blessings channel with another beautiful story. I have the extreme pleasure of introducing you all to my very dear friend, mentor, and a mom figure, Juhi Bhatnagar ji from California Bay Area, and her two loving sons, Samir Bhatnagar and Avichal Bhatnagar. So welcome you all to the channel. It's a great pleasure to have you all in here. We have been wanting and dreaming to do this together for a very long time, and it's happening today, so I'm very excited.
Thank you. We're excited to be here too today, Asti, and share the journey with you.
Thank you, Avi. Thank you.
Professional training that we have as individuals gets put to the ultimate test. So part of the journey has been a radiation treatment that was for my mom, and it was meant to save my mom's life, and actually became the catalyst for what I'd say is our greatest challenge. And the treatment severely damaged some of her vital organs, and particularly her lungs. So 3 months after the treatment, the radiation was done, we watched her condition, deteriorate, lack of energy, no appetite, shortness of breath, fluid buildup, heavy wheezing, all these deconditioning issues to the body seemed to worsen by the day. And then ultimately it all led to this fall where she had I still remember the night of November 19th like it was yesterday, finding my mom in the middle of the night fallen in a fetal position with blood gashing all over her forehead. I was in utter shock as to what was happening, and I never would have imagined. And what we learned later was pneumonia had weakened her so much to the point that a simple movement became catastrophe. So I still remember the 911 call, the ambulance ride, the rush to the emergency room. Samir and I were there side by side, and none of us were prepared for what became a 7.5 month immersion course in crisis leadership. So, that was just the beginning of the journey. What we never imagined, the medical reality was, overwhelming for all of us. There was intubation for breathing support. There was, failed extubations. There was pneumonia complications. There was repeat, septic shocks. There were multiple procedures that were conducted across her abdomen, her chest, very technical in nature, thoracenteses, paracenteses. She spent basically the first 2.5 months cycling in and out of the ICU. And there were even 4 times in different occasions when doctors just weren't sure if she was even going to make it out of the ICU. And I remember the beginning of this year, at one point, she had 5 different tubes inserted in her body that were based on various procedures. And it was really frightening and heartbreaking for us to witness. And, every operating system that Samir and I had navigated in life, all the assumptions that we had about control, all frameworks about success, all the understanding of what's possible suddenly all felt very obsolete. To us, it wasn't just a medical crisis. It was more of a complete leadership laboratory about the most extreme conditions imaginable. Very difficult. And so, I can share more, but Samir, please feel free to chime in about some of your experiences during the 7.5 months in the hospital stay.
Sure. What we've been going through with mom, not just the 7.5 months, but over the last 2 years, but like how Avi summarized on how the 2 years and plus more intense 7.5 months have been. It's been extremely fatal, very unexpected, very demanding on mom and us supporting her in whatever capacity we can. But it all comes down to having faith and belief. That's mom, as you already know, and as you introduced mom, she's been the pillar of our family on starting with all of us with our journey with Art of Living. And she started many people's journey with art of living. She's been a teacher, a volunteer, and giving back in whatever capacity to help people with their journey. And it's all of those goodwills and wishes and all her friends that really care about her that have been instrumental in her journey, along with, of course, Sri Sri, that's really held our hands and kept mom alive to this day. Like Avi called out, there were at least 4 different instances where the doctors had completely given up in the ICU room. Both me and Avi, we just did not know what's going to happen next. It was, I would say, a near-death experience for mom, at least 4 times. And every single time she fought back, she came back. And it was because of faith, because of having the kripa of Sri Sri and all the well-wishers, with the daily chanting and the Om Namo Shivaya and the faith that really led her to where she is today. So like I said in the beginning, we're of course very thankful that she's home, but still the journey still continues.
Thank you so much for sharing, Avi and Samir. That candid sharing means a lot to us, and some of us have been very close to Auntie and all of you with the family and being part of this journey. So we've seen that, firsthand, first eyes, what has gone into it. That's why I call it an absolutely a journey of tenacity and willpower and grace and faith.
Starting off, my mom is a living example of the blessing that we see and feel her energy every day. It's her well-wishers that have been instrumental, with, of course, Sri Sri behind every single well-wisher, that's guiding all of us to channel that energy to fight and keep that positive spirit along. I've personally had the luxury of being around Sri Sri Ravi Shankar a few times in my life. And, it almost feels like it's a once in a lifetime experience that I have just being around his sheer presence. It just becomes such an emotional cleanse. Everything else feels minute just around his sheer presence. And we drop all her our anxieties, our demands, our wishes.
Auntie, I'll come back to you. You have been a blesser as well for long years, right? And I know you have been blessing all of us, many of us, all the time. We reach out to you seeking for blessings. Do you have any favorite blessings, a story that when you bless somebody and then they came back to you and you saw that transformation happening in their life?
I would say my family. My son, just before 2 years, he's different person. Now he is so much dedicated to me, to Guruji, to God, and he is instrumental. Samir was in the beginning, he was there, but Avi changed like dramatically in 2 years, and I'm surprised the way he is giving me a hug all the time, touching my feet all the time, and writing letter to Gurudev and crying for me every day in the Kriya. There's so much changes happened to him.
Been reaping the benefits of Kriya in a way that we all know that there's spiritual benefits, but we've been seeing scientific benefits to be able to navigate through such difficult adversity.
Yes.
Samir and I made it a discipline and a practice to continue our practices, daily practices, our Kriya, our sadhana, our meditations regularly, regardless of how much challenges were in front of us. And the challenges were endless.
We actually this is in the beginning of our journey where we were trying to get second and third opinions from specialists, from Stanford specialist, UCSF specialist, and they all looked at mom's files, charts, diagnosis, analysis, whatever you want to call it, and they all felt the severity was so extreme that they didn't have anything positive to say. And it was, in a nutshell, they'll say, well, maybe she has a year left, if that much. And we don't know. And that's like wishing for the best. And we heard them, we acknowledged them, but did not accept their findings. And this is where the blessings, the faith, we held on to it, and it led to one thing led to the other. Of course, she had to go to the hospital for 7.5 months, but it was that faith, that belief, the daily chants, the hope, the daily practices of Kriya, yoga, meditation, and just putting it all together, notes to Sri Sri, visits with Sri Sri. It is all of those culminations that we proved science to be incorrect. And she's a living testimony on where she is today.
Thing that we all have as human beings today.
To enhance herself every day, to do the good selfless service of society, and don't be selfish, and give unconditional love to everyone. Even though I go in a blesser of the world, I don't go on the phone, but I bless them from my heart. So blessing is not just to show your hands and all this. It goes from heart to heart.
Very beautiful. The blessing goes from heart to heart, and selfless service is the biggest blessing that we have as human beings today. The ability to do that selfless service. And Auntie, you, time and again, you epitomize that selfless service for us. So thank you for doing that for all these years and continuing to do that now, defying everything that people would call as challenges. You don't treat them as challenges. You're always in this space of giving and blessing and serving the community. So thank you for that.